we went out to some bars. Me, Christopher, Tyler, Jason. And we were doing a hotel here. And Navy Pier, which is something that I'm walking back to, and I got to pass on my journey homeward. We all went out, and I mean, I was DD. I hadn't had any alcohol, but they were, I would say, a little past tipsy. And we Ubered back from these clubs that we had found, because there's not really that many like jamming clubs inside the city. You got to kind of go out a little bit, till not very far, but you got to go out a little bit to find the booming places. And we got back to Navy Pier, and I'm gonna go and get the truck, and Tyler, Christopher, Jason all sit down on the road that surrounds the pier. Well, Tyler had a $1,000 cell phone that he had not had for very long, drops it down a crack in Navy Pier. And that little road that goes around the outside of Navy Pier is right above the water. And it had landed on the only piece of dirt underneath that little dock. And he had literally accomplished this completely drunk. But we had a little manhole that we pulled the cover off of, and Jason grabbed my hands and I lowered him down into the water. He was already, I think, in swimming trunks. I can't really remember. And he asked me to hand him his phone down the manhole. And he's sitting down in the water, and the water's probably up to his nipple. And I try to hand him his phone, and he drops his phone in the water. Now, he had a cheaper phone. I mean, money's money. And it still worked slightly, just had water damage to where it would act up on him and stuff. But he goes over, and we can look through this little crack, and all we see is the phone, probably a good 4 or 5 feet down, right next to his fingers. And the security guards pull up, and they are at first asking us what's going on. We explain why we're there and what's happening. They finally come to the realization, because we tell them there's a man that we had lowered down a manhole, and they don't act like that's that much. Well, they finally look down the crack and see him down there. And once it hits them, they flip. They are telling us that if we don't have him out in a matter of a few minutes, that he is going to call the National Guard, and they're going to come and arrest us all for trespassing and for lowering a man down into dangerous territory on private property, or however they said it. Well, we pulled Jason back out, and we're telling him, we're like, hey, we just bought this cell phone, and the waves are coming in, and they're so close to knocking this thing in the water. As long as we don't send another man down a super dangerous manhole, can we keep trying? And they agreed to it. They were like, okay, you got a few minutes, but then we're gonna escort y'all off of the pier. So we all look at the truck and try to come up with some kind of gadget. By this time, Tyler, which is his phone, is passed out in the back of the truck, completely passed out. He gives up. He says that phone ain't coming back. He has come to the realization that it is done for. Well, my brain and Jason's brain and Christopher's brain somehow come up with the idea to figure out what we got in the back of that truck that we can use to save this damn phone. Well, we were doing a construction job, so we didn't have a ton of tools because we locked most of them up on the job site. But we found an old tape measure. I had a pair of underwear and some laminate glue. And laminate glue, contact cement, is some amazing stuff, and it's literally what saved the day. We sprayed the end of the tape measure with the contact cement, ripped the shorts up a little bit, and sprayed them all over with contact cement. And then through this tiny little crack, we spray down the contact cement, and it gets it all over his phone. And we use the end of the tape measure with the underwear on it, and we go down there, and I press the underwear against the phone as best I can. And contact cement isn't like other glues. You actually have to let it dry a little bit, and then both pieces that have it on there, when they stick together, it's there. Like, you can pull it off, but it is some fairly solid cement. And we pull the phone up, we get it all the way to the edge, and we realize that it's turned the wrong direction. It won't even fit through the crack. And the contact cement, as well as it had it, wasn't like secured with a deadbolt. So it is slowly giving out. Christopher, at the very last second, slides his fingers into the crack and literally pops the phone up against the ceiling as that everything else is kind of giving loose from it. And I was like, I thought it had fallen. I thought there's no way that he got it, but he slides it out. And once I saw the corner of the phone, I was like, okay, it's bad. Well, he pulls it in, and me and him start screaming, woo! And then all of a sudden, the security guards see it in our hands, and they had given up hope. They thought that we were nuts for even trying. They were like, dude, your phone is gone. We're sorry. Everybody's cheering. It was crazy. It was so much fun. And then we all drove home. Tyler had his phone that he paid $1,000 for. Jason lost his phone. It was a bad day for Jason's phone. I think for the story and for what happened and how much fun it was, I think it was well worth it. But we had a good time. I think when you travel with a bunch of guys, a lot of times you want to beat them all up sometimes. Sometimes when you get together with people, you want to like, I don't know how to explain it. I had an old boss named Jack that would always tell me that we were together more than his wife. So he would tell me that he was mad at me for no reason and to get out of his face. And he would tell me at the end of the day how much he loved me, and it was so funny. But I kind of use that same mentality towards them. We would get mad, or somebody would be upset with somebody, and I would tell them to separate, but we would literally have so much fun. I mean, Jason and Tyler and Christopher all together were definitely a handful. They were much more into going out and doing stuff when they were all together, and none of them had girlfriends. But we need to get the old gang back together one day. Maybe go on a trip down to Florida or something.